What's up, MFFLs? Welcome into Dallas Mavericks Today. I am your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, we're going to explore, can the Mavericks land a second star to pair with Luka Doncic? There's some trade buzz out there, rumors that continue to circulate the internet, so we're going to get you caught up on all of that. Our good pals over at NBA Analysis, shout out Evan Massey, cooked up this trade idea. I thought we'd bring this to the table. Pascal Siakam to Dallas for Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Dorian Finney-Smith, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap. Wow. I like Siakam, but that is a lot of movement there. Siakam did have probably the best year of his career, arguably. 23 points, 8.5 boards, almost 50% from the floor, 34.4% from threes. Kind of slowly improving there, but he hasn't quite become that knockdown three-point shooter that you would like him to be at this stage in his career. I do like Pascal Siakam a lot. I think he'd be a good fit here, but 3 firsts and a swap on top of a couple of rotation players, that's a big haul for a guy who's probably never going to be a number one on a contending team. I mean, you're hoping he's a good Robin, which he proved to be when the Raptors won a title with Kawhi Leonard. Now, I do think the Rudy Gobert trade has kind of messed up the trade market. You got to wonder how these GMs are operating right now with the Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell stuff out there. Are they kind of ignoring that package as a league, or are teams being like, Rudy Gobert just went for 5 picks and players. What do you think that D-Mitch is going to go for? 7 or 8? Durant, biggest trade of all time? It's interesting. This feels like a lot for Siakam, but with the trade we just saw go down for Gobert, maybe it's not that crazy. I'd be a little hesitant if it were me. I'll ask you guys, would you make this trade? And I'll mention it again here. THJ, Josh Green, Finney-Smith, 3 firsts and a pick swap for Siakam. If it was like Bertans instead of Finney-Smith, you might be able to talk me into it, but Finney-Smith and Hardaway are 2 legitimate rotation guys. I got to type ND for no deal, but if you disagree, if you would make this deal, type D for deal. Anthony Davis, could he be a realistic option for Dallas? Told you guys there's wild rumors out there today. Could it happen if LeBron doesn't sign an extension? Is moving AD on the table for the Lakers? There's been some chatter out there. An anonymous exec told Heavy.com this when it comes to Anthony Davis. A lot of that depends on where the LeBron winds up. If he stays in LA and stays with the Lakers, he had a lot of personally invested in AD being there. So yes, in that case, Davis stays. But it's not a sure thing. There are some in that organization who would not mind seeing what they can bring back for AD, but they would not do it with LeBron there. You get to 2024, though, and maybe things change. The Lakers have AD for 2 more years for sure, and they can only hope he stays healthy, but after that, they have to think, is this guy really our future? He can't stay on the floor, and he has to think, do I want to be here without LeBron? That's why the Lakers do not want to give up those future picks. I do get the thought process from the Lakers side of either this year or next year before AD's contract expires of, should we just trade this guy, especially if LeBron doesn't commit to an extension? Because the last 2 years, AD hasn't been able to stay healthy, and really at no point in his career outside of the playoff run for the Lakers has he proven to be a reliable number one for a championship contending team. Last 2 years, Lakers have fallen off a cliff. So I do get that aspect of it. Obviously for the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, if healthy, AD would be an ideal fit with Luka. Now, we saw that with KP. He couldn't stay healthy. Now, I think Anthony Davis is a better talent than Porzingis, but it's a bit of a tricky one because we've kind of gone down this road before. Do you want to go down it again? I think that's fair to ask. Subscribe to the channel. If the Mavs make a big move, a big trade, we're going to have you covered with a video. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Also turn on that notification bell as soon as you do subscribe. That way you're notified when we do publish videos, the latest news, rumors, off-season coverage coming your way. Several videos a week here on this channel. Overall, I want to see what Anthony Davis does this year, because let's say he plays really well this year and LeBron signs elsewhere next year in free agency. With 1 year left in his deal, the Lakers might be like, okay, we're going to trade AD as well. We're going to reset here. Maybe you trade for him next year. Could that be a possibility? Could you sign him a couple years from now in free agency? Yeah, I don't think right now, though, it's that realistic to pursue Anthony Davis, because he just, the last 2 years after they won that title, and he played most of that season and was tremendous in the bubble, just hadn't seen it since. His play has dipped and his availability has dipped. He only played in half the season 2 years ago, and last year right at half as well. Missed 40 out of 42 games. So not the guy in terms of value that he was in 2020 compared to 2022. Now, he's still a tremendous player. Even though his numbers have dipped a bit the last couple of years, at minimum, he's basically a 20-9 guy, if not 23, 24, and 9. A guy that can block shots. He is a special defender and rim protector when he is healthy. Now, his three-point shooting fell off a cliff last year, but he's got a good mid-range game. He can post up. He can throw down oops. He's a talented big man. I mean, outside of Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, in terms of pure talent, he might be that third most talented big in the NBA. It's just the unreliability that would give me pause if I was Dallas. Now, pick one. Who would you rather trade for? Type S for Pascal Siakam. Type D for Anthony Davis. Who would you rather reel in for the Dallas Mavericks? Maybe think about who would be a better fit with Luka long term. Are you a real one? We've talked about real ones here at Mavericks today. That's why we have you guys type MFFL in the comments. Well, we launched Real One t-shirts here at Chat Sports, and if you are a real one, you can pick one up. We got black ones. We got blue ones to match the Mavs colors. You can even go with the old school green. That's almost right on track with the Mavs green, to be quite honest with you. Chatsports.com/real one. A couple other colors you can pick from as well when you go to that link below. Click and shop today, and if you are a real one, type it down in the comments, either real one or MFFL. Before you yell, before you click away from this video, if you're a real one, you'll give us till the end here. Bleacher Report proposed a Russell Westbrook to Dallas trade idea. Please don't exit the video yet. Let's explain. Here is the proposal, and then we will give our analysis here. Russell Westbrook, Austin Reeves, 2 first-round picks to Dallas. Okay. Tim Hardaway Jr., Davis Bertans, Reggie Bullock. You could make an argument that the only key player from last season you're losing there is Reggie Bullock. Tim Hardaway Jr. missed the second half of the year, didn't play in the playoffs, still made the conference finals. Davis Bertans had his moments, but minimal impact. Bullock, good 3-and-D player. That would be a real loss. But, yes, Russ is a mess, and I don't want him long-term, but if you basically want to say you're punting, like half punting on this season, like I still think you'd make the playoffs, but kind of realizing, okay, we lost Brunson, let's take on Russ, and then we'll have all this cap space the next year. Yeah, you're punting on contending for a year. I get that. I'm not even saying I would do this, but I do think at some point you need to recoup some assets because you don't have real draft capital, at least not enough volume of it, due to the Porzingis trade, and you haven't been able to sign that second star in free agency. So Mavericks historically, when they get big fish, it's via the trade market. How do you do that? You got draft capital. So if, you kind of punt for 1 year and maybe you make the playoffs and win a series, Russ can be your point guard off the bench. It's not ideal. But I do kind of like Austin Reeves as a long-term contributor, and you would get 2 first-round picks as well for those assets. Yeah, it would suck to say bye to Reggie Bullock and Hardaway, but again, Tim was hurt last year, and Bullock, nice rotation player, but he's not the reason. I don't think he's a deciding factor in a trade, if that makes sense. Look, no one dislikes Russ more than me. Believe me. I don't want you guys, Russ sucks. Oh, producer Coop might be the only other person, but it's, it would be a weird. Don't get me wrong. I am not a Russ guy. But if you as an organization are like, we probably don't have enough ammunition to contend at the highest level this year, you could do even if it's a disaster, he's off your books after 1 season. Like, I could see why you would maybe be willing to do this if you are Dallas. Would I do it? I just couldn't do it. I could not do it for Russell Westbrook. But that type of trade would almost convince me because at least you get 2 firsts and a young, promising player in Austin Reeves. It's not like you're just taking on Russ. I think it's at least something worth talking about, which is why I hope you guys stayed with us through the video. Let us know. Would you trade for Russ? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Get your votes in the comment section. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Mavericks Today. If you've gotten to this point, you're a real one. Type MFFL in the comment section. I am Harrison Graham. Please subscribe, and we'll see you soon here on the channel.